Hi everyone, welcome back to the Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Phantom, and today we'll be unboxing two of these blokees Transformers Galaxy version 06 Parallel Universe blind box toys. These were on sale at Walmart, and I really had not gotten into blokees, but I thought, let's give it a try anyway, because I do love Parallel Universe. Looking at the assortment here on the side, we see that we have an IDW Optimus, IDW Megatron, Swoop in his Dinobot form, and then Swoop in his robot mode, Sunstreaker, Wheeljack, Kickback, Dirge, and Shattered Glass Ratchet. And then the super rare is the IDW Orion Pax. Let's take a look. This is the first time I've done any blokees, so let's take a look and see what all of the hubbub is all about, shall we? Alright, so our first blind box, we have two packages with accessories, etc. pieces in it. These are model kits and a little blokees brochure of the Galaxy version Parallel Universe. I don't know what makes Kickback, Sunstreaker, Dirge, and Swoop Parallel Universe versions. I mean, unless looking at this Sunstreaker, it doesn't look like the Headmaster Hunter version from IDW, but or Wheeljack, actually. What makes Wheeljack Parallel Universe? Anyway, maybe they're just talking about the two main characters from the series, which is Autobot Megatron, which is my favorite version of Megatron, and Orion Pax Optimus Prime from the Shadowplay series in More Than Meets the Eye, which is also one of my favorite storylines. I love James Roberts, and I loved More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light. Some of the greatest Transformers storytelling, in my opinion, and by virtue of that, I love Autobot Megatron. Shall we open up the package to see what we have, or should we look at the instructions to see what we have? What do you say? Let's look at it. We have robot mode Swoop. Really cool. Let's make a robot. Robotic dinosaurs could be useful. You have my authorization. Alright, so we have a little stand here, and this is I'm gonna guess this is the accessory packet. We have a stand, and we have 4 hands, 2 fists and 2 open hands. Very much like a Gundam model, you just pop them off of the sprue piece. So we'll save those for later and get rid of the silica package. So it seems very much like, you get a little collector's card and you can find them on Facebook. Whoop-de-doo. All right. So from what I'm seeing here in the instructions, this does seem just like making a Lego. They're superposable, but I mean the essential parts of it are all like puppet play. So there you have it. Swoop. It's actually a pretty cool little figure for $5. I mean, this is quite sturdy material, quite honestly. I'm really quite impressed with the build quality of it. It's funny because I've been reading the Transformers Compendium, the G1 Compendium comic, because we recently just got our the PDFs of what's eventually going to be printed, and it's the first time I've read really any of the very, very, very early UK comics. And the difference between not only just the art, but also the writing of the Marvel and the Marvel UK is frankly astounding. Simon Furman really does deserve a lot of props for his writing in those initial issues. He really does go out of his way to make the characters feel like they actually have personalities in those initial issues. And I think that that's something that sometimes the Marvel comics lacked. Also, I thought just Swoop brings me back to the whole... There's a whole subplot in the Marvel UK in the very early issues where, yeah, the Dinobots were defeated by Shockwave in the Savage Land, and then Ratchet reactivates them, and then they come to the aid of the Autobots. But it's very strange how, after their clash with Megatron that we see in the Marvel US, in the Marvel UK, there's a whole plot line where Swoop, quote-unquote, dies because a Guardian robot activated by Auntie, the Central Intelligence of the Ark, has been outfitted with a nuclear bomb by Shockwave. And Swoop, they disable him without setting off the bomb, but then Swoop needs to fly him out of the volcano so that he doesn't liquefy everyone with the atomic blast. And in so doing, the Dinobots believe Swoop is dead. But then he comes back, controlled by a human working for Roxxon, which I thought was really interesting because that, aside from Spider-Man showing up in issue 3 and a couple of other little funny asides, the Transformers doesn't really operate in the Marvel Universe, like the broader Marvel Universe. So it was interesting to have the Transformers comic invention of G.B. Blackrock kind of be positioned as a rival to Roxxon, which is a ubiquitous conglomerate company in the broader Marvel Universe. I'm trying to think of if Roxxon itself had a hand in creating or funding any superheroes or supervillains. And I don't think they did. I know that the Molten Man worked for Roxxon, and it was a chemical spill that turned him into the Molten Man. But I don't think Roxxon was responsible for that. I don't think they were trying to create Molten Men. I know that there's always shady business dealings. I know that they dealt with a Hobgoblin or the Green Goblin at one point, trying to bump off their competitors. Wait. Wasn't it Jack-o'-lantern? I think it was Jack-o'-lantern. The ridiculous Green Goblin knockoff with a pumpkin head and the bouncing, springing, flying saucer platform, which I always got a kick out of as a kid. I think he worked for Roxxon. But in any case, somebody from Roxxon takes control of Swoop and causes him to attack the Autobots. And then that feeds into a much longer, broader storyline where the Autobots have to chase down it's the Dinobot hunt. But no, it's nice to have this figure. I'm really liking it. He's extraordinarily posable. In terms of positioning, he's pretty positionable. He's very posable. Very posable. So yeah, all told, if these are still on sale, I'll pick up a few more. Yeah, unlike the Miniverse, there are no cheat sheets for this. It really is a blind box. And I know that you could buy the figures you want on the secondary market, but I just saw these at Walmart. They were on sale, and a whole bunch of them. Kind of regretting that I didn't buy more, quite honestly, at this point. Alright, so let's take a look and see who we're making today. Sunstreaker. Hey, I'm not saying that there's anything bad about this, but I think that it's very funny that out of the 9 characters that are normal for this series, I got the 2 that I really wanted the least. I mean, the one I wanted the least was Ratchet. I really have no use for the Shattered Glass Ratchet because the Shattered Glass just doesn't do anything. Or Dirge, or Kickback, Sunstreaker, or the Swoops. I really wanted either Wheeljack Megatron, Optimus, or the Deluxe. I realize this is a pipe dream. Swoop is actually really cool, and I like Swoop anyway, so that's fine. But yeah, Sunstreaker, weird. All right, fine. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Like I said, true blind box items. I will say, I really do appreciate the fact that the metal is very metallic. It seems the paint quality, or rather the plastic quality, looks very good. I mean, with repeated use, God only knows how this is going to look, with constantly rubbing against joints. But only time will tell. So let's find our little Lego torso first. There it is. It really is a Lego torso. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I think that that's actually kind of cool, but I guess that's kind of mean. I don't mean to make it sound as though I dislike Sunstreaker. I actually, back when I was a kid and I was watching the original G1 cartoon on TV, I really liked Sunstreaker. I always thought Sunstreaker was cool. Sunstreaker and Sideswipe were cool, not only because there were a few of the toys I actually owned. I didn't have a lot of the original G1 Autobots. Season 1. I had Optimus, obviously, because everyone had Optimus. I had Wheeljack, who was the first Transformer I ever got. My favorite Transformer. Probably bar none. I just love Wheeljack. Sunstreaker and Sideswipe, I had. I don't think either of them were complete. But I did own them, and they were intact enough to transform. I don't think they had their guns or anything like that. What else did I have? I think I had a Trailbreaker at one point, but he broke. I'd actually really have to give some thought. Like, I'm not actually sure what else I had. I know I had those. I never had a Ratchet, and I never had a Wheeljack. A Ratchet or an Ironhide, rather. Never had either of those. Didn't have Prowl. Didn't have Hound. I didn't have an original Jazz, but I did end up getting a Generation 2 Jazz. Not that that counts. For this discussion. I had Bumblebee, I had Cliff Jumper, I had Brawn. I definitely remember having Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper. I mean, going to second season, I definitely had Sea Spray, Warpath. I mean, going into third series, Outback, Beachcomber, had Blaster. Yeah, for Generation 1, there really was not a lot. I didn't really have a lot of G1 toys. It's actually really clever. This is a really clever series because it's so simple. It's so simple. Like you could just establish the identifying parts to each robot, and then you just mass produce them in different colors, and you just add the small details that make them into their character. That's pretty fun, actually. It's an interesting way of doing it. It's a smart way of doing it, I should say. Poor Sunstreaker really got a short shrift in IDW. Attacked by the Swarm, turned into a headmaster against his will. I thought that was kind of ballsy of IDW to do. To make a character that is not normally a headmaster into a headmaster. I thought that was pretty smart. It was surprising. Nobody was expecting it. See if we can get him into classic 80s action pose. The Luke Skywalker. Not bad. His balance is pretty good. So yeah, all told, I think this was $9 well spent. They're pretty cool. I would be interested in doing the rest. It's that blind box, though. The blind box thing really gets me because I got so much of that with Miniverse. It's like, I don't want to deal with blind boxing anymore, but whatever. It's fine. I'm actually pretty satisfied with these two. They're very solid. I don't think they're going to break immediately. They're superposable, which I like. I like their likeness. I think that the uniformity of their design is actually a smart thing in the end. Range of motion is pretty good. I mean, they don't have super range of motion. But you could bend the arms so that they could stretch wide. Jim Kata! In any case, thank you very much for joining me for this impromptu blokees Shelves Have Eyes. I'll be returning with more, I guess you would say, normal Transformers fare coming up. I still need to finish Omega Prime. I know that I've been very negligent about that. I really do need to finish it. But thank you very much for joining me in my mad ramblings as I put together, essentially, Transformers Gundams. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you've been opening this blokees set. What have you got? Do you think that they're worthwhile? Do you think they're fun? I'll probably be doing quite a few more in the future. But if you like this, please consider liking the video and sharing it and subscribing to the channel, because I'm going to keep putting things like this out, and hopefully they'll find their audience. But thank you very much for joining me. I've been Phantom once again. This has been The Shelves Have Eyes. Have a good night, y'all.
Masters! Who will join me? Who will give up the power to transform to become stronger, faster, more alive? I will! Count me in! And so, Action Masters are born.